Namaste, Jai Gurudev. Welcome to the Sangha on Athma Gyan today. And as you know, I'm a Kriya Yogi and Mahatma Babaji is my Guru. So I would like to start with doing the Guru Mantra. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Sakshat Guru Para Brahma, Tasme Sri Guruve Namaha. The divine in me greets the divine in you. Namaste. That basically is the summation of the Atma Gyan, in fact, actually. It's the awareness, the recognition that I am beyond my body, beyond my mind, beyond the senses, beyond my ego, and coming into the space, the ether, and operating from presence in the now, in a timeless phenomena. This recognition, awareness is not to separate and divide. There is no two. I'm one without a second, is the saying. It's not about oneness, and it's not about separation, because both of those concepts are concepts. So it's coming from the mind. And the Atma is actually beyond the mind. So it's in the space, it's beyond the senses. If you're a yogi and you know about the koshas, there's the annamaya kosha, the pranamaya kosha, and the manomaya kosha. And this is actually the next level, the vignamaya kosha, where your feelings and intuitive and the imagination access point that is beyond thought, beyond senses, beyond speech even as well. Even though here I am using language to impart what cannot be imparted, what cannot be thought of, and the yogis say, neti, 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 not this, not this, not this, not this. Or in the words of Ramana Maharishi, who am I and who is asking? And then going back, peeling back the layers of the onion until you come to the source. So the journey of the Atma Gyan actually is beyond this realm, and it's the grace, I would say, it's grace-led, very much so. The effort is only in terms of the intention setting, and then it's based on your karma, your absolute desire for it, and the sadhana, the practices that you are doing to invoke getting out of the Maya realm, as it were. Although when you are in the Atma Gyan, there is no Maya realm. It's interwoven. There's the stillness of Shiva, and there's the dynamism of Shakti, and it's all happening as a dance together. There's no separation. And the other Nishwar, where you have the half Shiva and the half Shakti, it is very much of that awareness. And in terms of the Kriya practice, it takes you into what's known as the Sushmna Nadi. So you're away from the Ida and the Pingala, which is the sun and the moon. So it's about balance and harmonizing the entire body. So when the body is harmonized, and then you enter into what's known as the breathless state, which is not forced. There's no effort. I mean, initially the practices are there in the Kriya Yoga with breath work, which is what we initiate on here at Aranyaka Ananda in Goa, but only to those that are ready. Because it is a discipline and the body has to be ready to receive that energy and to work towards it as well. So the Atma Gyan is very much beyond knowledge, beyond understanding, beyond limited way of conceptualizing, away from concepts of black and white, of yes and no. I wouldn't say it's grey either. It's like the pyramid. It's sort of, this is the yes, that's the no, so it's even beyond. So it's the space around the pyramid. In Sanskrit, they use the analogy of the pot, where the pot is the container, if you will, the physical, the annamaya kosha, and yet there is space inside, and there's also space outside. So it's that space that one has access to when the annamaya kosha and the pot is broken, as it were, when you've recognized in yourself the presence, the internal awareness, and connected to the source by peeling back all of your layers, by peeling back your understanding, your limitations, and any other concepts that you have about how things should be. Rituals, mantras, practices, everything is just, it's all beyond that. The Atma gyan is the one without a second. So one without a second implies it's beyond all of these concepts that we are using on the journey as a spiritual seeker. Everything has to be let go, including the guru, including the seeking. And that's, I wouldn't say it's nothingness, as in the Buddha concept, the void, the shunya, because that implies there's something, right? There's a duality there. So have nothing implies there's something, but it's really beyond nothing and something. So hence it's grace-led. The Atma Gyan is grace-led. There is just no other way. And even in the Tao, they say the truth that can be spoken, the truth that can be written, and the truth that can be heard is not the truth. And here we are talking about it. However, the journey does have a sequence of practices that enables one to facilitate and be accessible and be available for that descent and grace to be entering into your, not entering, it's actually awakening, because it's there already. It's not something that is separate from anybody or anything. In fact, it's here because it's beyond time. So it's timeless, and it's omniscient and omnipresent, all of those qualities. And one views that, then the Satchitanand realization dawns, because Ananda is almost like the laughter. It's like, who have you been looking for? Yeah, I mean, it was always here. It wasn't outside. And hence they say that the language is really mirroring everything. So when we blame others for our life events, there is no such blame game going on. It's a mirroring, because everything is you, everything is self-realized, self-aware. The self is the Atma, if you will, and the self is in everybody. And that's where the joy enters, and the love, unconditional love, or what I call the force of love, which is what Shakti Prem Anand stands for, in fact. So you arrive at that Satchitanand, the Sat being the truth, the quest on the truth. The consciousness is a Shiva consciousness. You recognize it. It's endless, eternal, space-led. And then the Ananda, the joy of knowing there is no division, of knowing, not knowing, it's beyond knowing. It's the Vignamaya Kosha, the wisdom, let's use this word, wisdom. So it's the wisdom that dawns, and wisdom isn't logical. Yeah? Hence, some of the gurus, they have these practices that one could consider quite criminal, almost, actually, sometimes, and that varies according to the guru and according to the student as well. So, and it's all designed really to manage the mind, because the mind conceptualizes, the mind has the ego, and the mind has the memory, and the mind has the imprints, the belief systems. And so hence yoga chitti vritti nirodha, it's to get the stillness of the mind. That's the first stage. And the yoga, the meditation, all the techniques, the sound, all of these tools that everyone is on, it's this. Once the stillness of the mind is there, then if it's meant for you, then it will happen. And it's not a happening. Again, it's language. It's not even a happening because it's beyond happening. It's there. It's like the deer and the musk. He's been looking for his musk and going around in circles and looking here, there, and yet it was already in him. And hence, so is the Atma. The Atma is in us. All. Whether you're a murderer, whether you're a rapist, whether you're Mother Teresa, a saint in the Himalayas, whether you're sitting on TV or Ramdev propagating, or Satgurus, or any of these other Muji, any one of them. It's in everybody. It's in you who's listening. And it's in the child that's going to give birth. It's to the child that hasn't yet been born. And so it's like that. It's like we say, even it's beyond light. Because light implies there's darkness and there's a duality there. But it's really the sun, right? It's the sunshine that's coming, not coming from the light, not coming from the darkness. So these are just labels that we're putting onto it to define it, to give it understanding, but it's beyond all of that. Hence they say you really have to become naked, and you have to die, and you have to die in this lifetime in order to be accessible. It's not like it's any guarantees. It doesn't even come with a guarantee. There's no certificate at the end of it. Well done, you've attended 21 hours, 200 hours yoga, 500 hours yoga, etc. It's why I stopped doing the whole yoga thing, by the way, from Yoga, because it's a facade. It's nonsense. No organizations. We're not into organizations. Atma Gyan is passionately living without attachment and surrendering, with what they call, but it's more the passion. The passion is not that desire, it's a desireless passion. It's love in its quintessential form. It's the innocence of the baby that's been born, like that. Or watching nature do its thing, and how everything just coordinates naturally and beautifully together without any effort. And when that dawning arises, life just happens. Life happens. And not everybody is ready for that. Everybody wants to do effort. And that doesn't mean that you don't have to act. Okay, we call it sthiti kriya. So it's the stillness of the kriya. Okay, you have to do the act, but you do it in the stillness. And the stillness comes from the silence of the mind. The silence of the mind comes from the knowing of you are the Atma. So it's going back to the original source that's inside you here. They call it it's not on your left side as the physical heart is, on the right side. That's where it sits. Eventually, once it's sort of come down. Whether it's Kundalini energy and all of this, these again are just concepts. So use them, to silence the mind. Remember that all of that work, meditation, all of that is just for the mind. And those that haven't been to university or have got a PhD or are too intellectual, they probably get it much easier, and they do, because they're not so bogged down in their heads all the time, thinking, analyzing, judging, forming a plan, etc., etc. So that's a little bit on Atma Gyan, and we will open this up for question and answer session also. So do join us. We'll be holding these fortnightly. and love to have you live, and love to have your questions in advance to answer as well. And this is a sharing, this is not an instruction, it's not a dictator of what is Atma at all, because as I said, it cannot be put in words. It's a presence, an awareness, unconditional love. Jai Gurudev. Namaste. The divine in me greets the divine in you.